What were the responsibilities of the Gershonites concerning the tabernacle? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Numbers on Walking Through the Bible. If you have a Bible with you, turn to Numbers chapter 3. We're going to be reading from verses 14 to 26. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Numbers chapter 3, beginning at verse 14. Then the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, Number the children of Levi by their fathers' houses, by their families, who shall number every male from a month old and above. So Moses numbered them according to the word of the Lord, as he was commanded. These were the sons of Levi by their names, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families, Libni and Shimei. The sons of Kohath by their families, Amram, Izihar, Hebron, and Uzziel. And the sons of Merari by their families, Malai and Mushai. These are the families of the Levites by their fathers' houses. From Gershon came the family of the Libnites and the family of the Shimeites. These were the families of the Gershonites. These who were numbered according to the number of all males, a month old and above, of those who were numbered, there were 7,500. The families of the Gershonites were to camp behind the tabernacle westward. And the leader of the father's house of the Gershonites was Elisaphat, the son of Lael. The duties of the children of Gershon in the tabernacle of meeting included the tabernacle, the tent with its covering, the screen for the door of the tabernacle of meeting, the screen for the door of the court, the hangings of the court which are around the tabernacle, and the altar and their cords, according to all the work relating to them. In our last lesson, we had learned that God had selected the Levites for the service of the tabernacle. This would replace the service of the firstborns from all the other tribes, although the firstborns from Israel would still be holy to the Lord, but would be redeemed. What we have described for us, starting at verse 14, is the census of the Levites. If you recall from chapter 1, the Levites weren't included in that census due to the fact that that census had to do with identifying who would go to war. Since the Levites wouldn't go to war, they were excluded. However, it was still important to take a census of the Levites, for that would determine what type of service they would do for the tabernacle. Moses was commanded to take a census of every male from a month old and above. Notice the difference from the census in chapter 1. That census was numbered from every male 20 years old and above. Again, the reason is the purpose of the census. Children would not be going to war, so they weren't numbered. However, for the Levites, children would eventually serve in the tabernacle in some capacity once they reached a certain age, so they were numbered. The way they were numbered was again by family. From Genesis 46, we learned that Levi had 3 sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. From Exodus, we learned that these 3 sons had sons of their own. From Gershon, we have Libni and Shimei. From Kohath, we have Amram, Izihar, Hebron, and Uzziel. And from Merari, we have Malai and Mushai. When we discussed this in Exodus 6, we stated that by the sheer numbers mentioned here in Numbers for these tribes, that we must have some missing generations in the genealogical tables, something that we know happens in other places in the Bible. Although we couldn't say in Exodus where the skip in the generations occur, from what we see here in Numbers, in how the Levites were divided by houses, it appears that the skip in generations occurs after the grandsons of Levi. That would mean that Moses was not a great-grandson of Levi through Kohath, but a couple generations further than that. Perhaps a great-great-grandson or a great-great-great-grandson. Since the phrase son of can include really any descendant, like Jesus is the son of David, then there is no contradiction. From Gershon came 2 families, the Libnites, sons of Libni, and the Shimeites, the sons of Shimei. How many were in these families? Of those males, 1 month old and above, 7,500. As you can see then, such a large number necessitates that there are missing generations that are simply not mentioned because they are unimportant for us to know in this census. However, full records would have been kept, just as it would have been with the census in chapter 1. The Gershonites would camp behind the tabernacle westward. Looking at our diagram then, the Gershonites would camp in front of the camp of Ephraim, which contained the tribes of Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin. The leader of the Gershonites was Elisaphat, the son of Lael, not to be confused with the Elisaphat that we met in chapters 1 and 2 from the tribe of Gad. The mere presence of the mention Elisaphat being the son of Lael, and not Libni or Shibni, again cements our position of missing generations in the genealogical records. As for the duties of the Gershonites, they would be responsible for the tabernacle, the tents with its covering, the screen for the door of the tabernacle, the screen for the door of the court, the hangings of the court, which are around the tabernacle, and altar and their cords. Just to refresh our memories as to what the tabernacle looked like, basically the Gershonites were responsible for the care and transport of all the cloth coverings of the tabernacle and court of the tabernacle with their cords, as well as the door of the tabernacle and court. Whenever then the children of Israel moved, that is what they would have been responsible for. We'll move on to other families, the Lord willing, in the next couple of lessons. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of Numbers chapter 3, verses 27 to 32, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.